All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan. The people of Iran are being ruled over by vicious, brutal, tyrannical thugs in the shape of the IRGC. These are the people who were behind the October 7th massacre, and they thought that they're going to subdue the Jewish people, and when Muslims will conquer Jerusalem and Jews will be massacred, blah, 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 which is an eschatological fantasy. But that didn't happen. It backfired. Everyone died. Hamas, gone. Ismail Haniyeh and Sinwar, gone. Nasrallah and Hasnobullah, gone, although Turkey played a bigger part in that. And now the Islamic regime is teetering. All their top leadership is dead. Look at them. They're all dead. All of them are eliminated. So you could understand that the Islamic regime's calculations have blown up in their faces. It didn't work out. They did manage to do a lot of propaganda online by exaggerating the claims of Gazan casualties, which they obviously maximized by using Gazan civilians as human shields. And obviously, we saw so many times they produced fake videos, crisis actors with makeup and all that nonsense. But, you know, we have these purple-haired Wokistanis and obviously a lot of Islamists in the West who don't really care about Gazans, but they care about their end-time fantasy of conquering Jerusalem. But for some reason, now this is the interesting part, for some reason, the Muslim diaspora that was coming out for Gazans is not really coming out for the Islamic regime in the same numbers. And there's a reason behind that. A lot of Muslims and radical Muslims, the Muhammad Hijabs, Ali Dawas, and a lot of these people that you see in Britain, and a lot of people you see in America at university campuses, mostly they're Sunnis. They appreciate Iran's helping hand to Hamas, but they consider Shias to be kafirs, infidels. That's why they're not coming out. And that's the reason why in this war, the public is actually coming out against the Islamic regime, unless, of course, you're Keir Starmer, who's simping for some Muslims because he still foolishly thinks that they will vote for him when they won't. So the Islamic regime is getting pummeled. We have seen videos coming out of Iran where people are actually celebrating the bombing of their own country. I'm sure you've seen this video, and they're literally in support of the US and Israel. They're celebrating the bombing of their own country. I've never seen anything like this, guys. I've heard that Ukrainians initially welcomed the Nazis because they were so sick and tired of Stalin's repression. But obviously that didn't work out too well for the Ukrainians because then the Nazis committed atrocities against them. But nothing like this. We're in the 5th day of this war and people are still supporting the US and Israel, even though there's been a girls' school which was bombed, and apparently the US and Israeli forces are behind that, and the US has said that we are investigating it. I don't know. It could be the IRGC themselves just to garner sympathy. And we've seen some of these pro-Islamic regime simps trying to portray that, oh, look, people are dying, whereas the Iranian people are actually celebrating it. But as it turns out, look at this. Look what Masih Ali-Nejad has reported with evidence. Look at this. So she's saying that the Islamic Republic is using schools and students as human shields. Multiple reports indicate that many military and security centers across Iranian cities have been evacuated. Have a look at this. This is some woman, citizen journalist, reporting from inside Iran. So the Islamic regime is doing exactly what Hamas did in Gaza. They're starting to use schools, well, for now, girls' schools, as military installations, because they want them to be bombed. And when it gets bombed, obviously some civilians will die and they could boost their propaganda. Look at their strategy. How evil. This is exactly what Hamas did. Their only strategy to win the war is to maximize their own civilian casualties. Look how evil they are. There's more. Look at this. So this IRGC official went there. They held a conference, cameras there, photo op. And after that, look at this. They're just sitting on school's property. And now, if the US or Israel receive intelligence that there are 50 or 100 IRGC soldiers are sitting there, if you take it out, then you might lose some civilians as well. And then the images will be broadcasted all over the world. So look how pathetic they are. This is a classic example of using your own civilians as human shields. Cowards, absolute cowards. And not only just that, because they are incompetent, look at this. This is someone filming from inside Tehran as well. So the incompetent Islamic regime launches a missile, probably to hit the UAE or Saudi Arabia or an American airbase in the region. And look how pathetic it is. Look at this. It takes off, and then it falls just there. It literally goes half a kilometer away, and it falls on someone's house. And guess what they're going to say? They're going to say, oh, look, civilian casualties resulted due to US and Israel indiscriminate bombings. That's what they're going to say. But don't worry about that. As I said, the people of Iran are dancing. Look at this. They're dancing. I don't know if this music is allowed on YouTube, so if there is no music and I'm just dancing, I might look like an idiot dancing without any music, but there was music, okay? So anyway, that was an update. I wanted to keep you up to date. What is actually happening? So the IRGC, or the Islamic regime, has started using little girls as human shields. And I expect nothing less. This is a tyrannical, brutal regime that killed 30,000 of its own people within a couple of days to cling onto power. And it's ironic that the same people who wanted to hold on to power, the top leadership, nearly 50 of them, are dead. So this regime is going to fall soon. And the people of Iran will be free again.